Hello and welcome to This Is Gonna Sound Weird. I'm Dana Louise. Thank you for joining me. This is video subset 1. I don't know. I had the instructional video. This video is going to be about UFOs. Because right now on the news, Congress is having some meetings about the same subject. Are UFOs real? What are they? You know, and they're trying to throw the blame on oh, it could be China. It's not China. You know it's not China. And sure, our government, all of their technologies 50 years before what any one of us could even imagine, but it's not that good. It's not that great. Are UFO, that great? Like the stuff that they're doing? Well, maybe. I don't know. It could be. But what's really going on? Okay, number one, you got your Elon Musk, you got Bezos, and you got NASA, and all those kinds of things. And everybody's trying to sell you a story of Major Tom, David Bowie. Nobody's sitting in a tin can to do space travel. That's just not how the universe works or the cosmos works. Okay, that's just not how it is. No. And here's a little clue. How does that work? Does the rest of the universe or the galaxy time or space travel? They do it through folding space. They point A, point B, just like in Dune, point A and B. Boop, 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 boop. Because they use vortexes, and a clue, which I was shown, is about the didgeridoo and the Tibetan monks and the throat singing, the whole. It's that tone. Frequency, and if you follow Tesla or Einstein or any piece of science, they're going to talk to you about frequency. It's what this planet is made out of, the solidity of frequency. And so that's how travel is actually done around here. They fold it. Nobody's spending 30 years in a tin can, in a tuna can, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so my question is really, are they just sending some of the drones through, just some of these other spacecrafts? Because the ones that the government is showing you are the small, little, maybe one-man drones, or one man is worth 2 aliens, the short ones. And they could just be drone and nobody could be, there could be no life forms in there. But where did they come from? Was there a mothership? Is there a mothership? And there could be a mothership, that would be hosting the drones. So I'm not quite sure. Mothership? Probably. Could there be some aliens, some life forms just sending out little drones through these vortexes? Sure, they could just be a little missile, sending it out there, getting their reports, sending it back. I'm going to tell you, I had an experience, this was a good one, about some UFOs. So I was sleeping in bed. I was in senior high. I don't know. I think it was a junior. So this would have to be about 1979, 78. And I grew up in Fridley. And I'm sleeping, and it's in the middle of the night. And I have no idea what time it is. But all of a sudden I wake up and I look out my bedroom window. And I didn't have to pee. I wake up and look out my bedroom window. And the trees were shorter then, and there was once upon a time I could see the Fauché Tower, and then they made the IDS Center and all those things. But anyway, so I saw a UFO flying equal with East River Road, which is also parallel to the Mississippi River. So I'm watching this, observing it. Some things are going on in my mind. And then I go back to bed. And I didn't have to pee, okay? Why did I get up? I don't know. So I go to school, and I come back home. And in the afternoon, about 3 o'clock, was a show called Twin Cities Today. And we used to have that on, when I'd come home and I'd have my little snacks. And at the end of the show, or was it called Twin Cities Live? I think it was Twin Cities Today. But it was Steve and Sharon Edelman, okay? And they had this afternoon show, and it was just really super, just a lot of talk about hot dish, recipes, what events are going around the Twin Cities, and all that good stuff. But at the end, they would open up the phone lines, and a caller could call in with any questions or comments. So it's the next morning or the next day, the afternoon, I'm watching the show, and they open up the phone lines, and there's a man over the airways, and he's like, "Hey, did anybody see that UFO, the spaceship, flying around last night, blah, blah, blah." And Steve and Sharon, I don't even know if they side-eyed each other at that point, but they're like, oh, just very jocular. It's just kind of like very Minnesotan. And he was cut off. Next caller, please. They want to talk about a brownie recipe or lutefisk or something like that. I don't even know. And another guy gets on the phone. I mean, first of all, my Cheez-Its probably fell out of my mouth. I was like, what? Because it all of a sudden brought up the memory of what happened the night before. Because a lot of times I just kind of forget. It's like there's this spell of forgetting about what happened the night before. And I was like, oh, shit, that just happened. Whoa. And then the next caller gets on. And he's like, yeah, did you see it? It went downtown, and there was military personnel following it. And I was like, oh, my God. Yep, I know that. I know all about it. And, of course, he got cut off right then, too. You're off the air. And the thing of it is, as soon as they cut him off, the whole show went off the air. I was like, I mean, they probably had a good 3 minutes left, but they went straight to commercial break. Now, didn't anybody, one of the producers, vet the people on the phone, hey, what do you want to talk about, Steve? I want to talk about the UFOs. Did Steve lie? He was like, oh, I got a good brownie recipe, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't know how these guys got on there. Because if they're cutting them off, they're vetting them. I don't know. It's just a mistura. I don't understand how that happened. But all I do know is the next 5 minutes was a commercial break, and I just ran to the phone. They used to be on the walls, and you had to memorize phone numbers. And I'm like, trying to call Steve and Sharon. Because I didn't want to be on, the show was over, obviously. I don't know what was on after that. But I just was like, I wanted to know who these guys were, if I could have their phone numbers or something like that. But the phone line was busy. We used to get a thing called a busy signal. And it would go, boop, boop, boop. And I did that for the next hour. And after a while, I'm like, oh my God, those people are probably done for the day. New producers are on board. It's probably going on into the news and blah, blah, blah. So the next day after I got home from school, I called them up again because I wanted to know. And I just kept getting a busy signal. Busy signal. Boop, boop. Yeah, so here's the thing. I saw it. I have a little bit more information about it. I actually wrote a book. Here we go. I wrote a book which talks about this stuff in a little bit more detail. Here's the book. It's called, it's actually called, This Is Gonna Sound Weird. And that's me in Norway. That's me in Norway. Right? Okay. So, yeah. I mean, there's probably some VHS tape. I'm thinking they had to have had VHS VHS tape because they were like super cool. Like they were like normal people didn't have VCRs, kind of, in 1978. That's just, like that was spendy. So they had some beta tape or something. But somebody's got to have that somewhere. And Steve and Sharon, I think Steve might be alive. I don't know if they have their faculties. I don't know. They're probably 80. Who knows how old they are? But I'm just saying somebody knows something. And so this is just one story that I have of UFOs, but I thought it was like pretty confirming because I got up for no particular reason. And the next day, 2 men were on the phone calling in like desperate to a TV show to shout out and say they had seen UFOs too. I think that's pretty amazing. So I don't know what they're going to come up with, what the end results are going to be with Congress. But there's the wind. I had a squirrel fall down on a tree in my other video. But anyway, so stuff's going to happen. This is real. Anyway, this is real life. And that happened. And I'm sure you probably have seen some UFOs too. And it's going to happen more and more. So anyway, thank you for joining me. I'm going to go on and talk about the next subject. So I'm going to go into UFOs a little bit more later on. Right now, I just got to put a bunch of content out. So thanks for putting up with me. I super enjoy your time. You take care. And until we meet again, bye-bye.